Yo, yo, yo. How y'all guys doing today? Well, thank you for joining me this morning, this live, you know, once again, live segment. Today, we're going to just talk about parenting, the views on parenting, and, you know, what are some of the things that you as a parent must do, and what are some of the things that, took place as a child for you as a parent with your parents, but you don't use, right, on your children because you realize that is not effective, right? Due to the fact that it was used on you. You see, parenting is something that is obviously joyful. Every parent loves and wants good for their children. And in order for that to happen, you have to teach them, you know? There are many ways to teach your kids, right? Teaching your kids helps them to guide them so that they're able to, understand the true paths of today. I mean, back in the days when we were growing up, right? Our parents raised us a little different, right? It was, with more force and authority, as we all know, because of the eras that change, especially coming from a different country. However, as times went, we began to understand that some of those methods weren't actually helping you, it was harming you. And so, of course, as a parent, right? When you become a parent yourself, because if you're not a parent, you like basically other parents can expect you to understand their point of view because you're not a parent. You didn't have kids, so you don't know how it's like to have, you know, to raise kids, right? Most of the time, you have to actually be experiencing this in order for, your version or your view to be obviously, legitimate. And so what we do then is we go on to a society where, of course, discipline is the purpose of, straightening your kids. Now, what I mean by discipline, you have to have things in place like if the kids are very hard headed, they don't listen or they lie, or, whatever the case is, you find a suitable punishment for them. Now, the punishment is, you're grounded, right? Depending on what they do or the severity of it, right, will match the punishment you give them. So you can be grounded, for the weekend. You don't get your iPad. Like, not just your iPad, but you don't get to play games. You can stay in your room by yourself and think about what you did. There's a lot of lines you can write. Of course, sometimes you get your privileges taken away from you, right? All of those things is, taking action of discipline, right? Because kids fear the pressure of loss of what they were entitled to because they're bought, their toys, their games, of course, their devices, because their entire life at that point in time is about those things. Not being able to go and play outside, right? Because maybe they're rude or disrespectful, you know. But just remember, Abuse is not something that it's okay to do, because you abusing the child will affect the children mentally, physically, and spiritually. But discipline will straighten them mentally, physically, and spiritually. And so this is what we do, right, as parents. That's my version and my view, and that's what I do. I mean, back in the days, how I was raised, right? I took methods from that, but these methods are what I just told you, because I realize that children only wants to learn, right? And they're not going to know everything. And to be, a great parent, you have to learn how to discipline your kids. Now, in every household, it's different. So the subject can change from time to time. Because you see, parents, right, have a lot of difficult decisions to make. It's not easy to raise one child, especially, you know, when you have more than one child. But if you have plans to put certain criterias in place, you'll be able to successfully raise your kids properly. And so that is something that has to be told, right? That is my point of view as a parent. That I don't abuse my kids, but I do discipline my children. Sometimes, if the concept of discipline and abuse may seem like it's similar, but it's far different, right? We all know what abuse is, and we all know how damaging it could be to young children. But there is no harm in discipline, and that is the main purpose. You discipline your children because you see, children must learn respect, and your job as a parent is to teach them all these things so that they understand what you are trying to do, right? They might not like you because obviously you are trying to train them so that they see and they understand how the world works better. However, you cannot fail to let that slide. So remember, the better your discipline is, the better outcome your children become. No toleration of abuse, just discipline. And that should be good, because if you want great results, you have to take a better action plan when it comes to discipline, right? Well, I use these methods on my children, right? And I see the progress, the change. I have seen it over the past years. And so when these methods work, they know that the fear of loss, when you take, their iPads, when you send them to their room and you isolate them and they can't basically play with their toys, their favorite toys, or they can't go outside because they're disrespectful towards you, right? All of those things show that you are serious, right? So just remember, find the best disciplinary action for your children so that they grow up with respect, they grow up with honesty and understanding. Because if you want to guide your children, right, if you want to teach them the right things, those are some of the implementations that will help you as a parent to become a successful parent. You see what I'm saying? Thank you guys for listening. Have a great day. Bye now.